children. Great adventure awaits you.
So essentially this is a free adventure from CHAOISUM, the creators of Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. We're just going to have a little jaunt through it. It goes from character creation all the way to your inevitable ending, whether that be death, insanity, or somehow managing to escape. The goal would be escape. From what I've heard of Call of Cthulhu, I doubt I'll be living through this. But we can always live in hope. The sun is high in the sky, a merciless ball of heat. You feel scorched by the time you reach the bus halt in front of Osborne's drugstore. It's a relief to put down your heavy case and take off your hat for a moment. You look across the street at the grubby butcher's shop, the grocer's with its faded awning, and the shabby tobacconist. Mistrustful faces glare at you as they pass. Perhaps this new job in Arkham will supply the change you need. Yet everybody you know in the world lives here. You know nobody in Arkham, not one soul. You ask yourself one last time if you are doing the right thing. The answer is here. None of your supposed friends have come to see you off. Whatever challenges lie in Arkham, it will be a brand new life and a brave one. A small grey motor coach approaches and rattles to a stop. You put your hat back on and pick up your suitcases. The driver also steps down, glancing at you before crossing the road to visit the tobacconist. When he returns, he is rolling his cigarette between his yellowed fingers. He is a thin man in his 50s, dressed in a stained shirt with the bus company emblem. Yet his eyes are sharp in their dark sockets. Where to? You show him your ticket for Ossipee. From there, you will connect to Rochester and Portsmouth, before the coastal line to Newburyport, and finally, Arkham. The driver scratches the match against his cigarette. Then he exhales and gestures to the back of the coach. Luggage racks up there. I've taken the liberty of downloading these character sheets. Below in the italics here, it's basically telling us the rules of the game. Got a couple more than would usually be in, say, D&D. Strength, we have constitution, we have dexterity, intelligence, size, power, appearance, and education. Let's go down the line for all of these physical things. Intelligence. Let's go 60, and we'll go 60 for education as well. You know what? I'm gonna make myself hot. I'm gonna be hot as hell. Do I really want my highest stat to be how hot I am? Yes, I do. I'm deciding that I'm hot, and that's the empowering statement of the day. The rack is set inconveniently high on the vehicle. You get a grip on the heavier case. This bitch is gonna make me haul this heavy ass thing. You grit your teeth and heave the second one into place. Perhaps the residents of Arkham will have better manners. I doubt it. The driver flicks his cigarette into the gutter and steps into the motor coach. Its engine coughs into life. You board, grateful that you will be the only passenger for the initial part of your trip at least. With mixed emotions, you watch from the window as the tired avenues of your old home slip behind you, receding into the distance. Arkham is your new home. You will travel there and make a new start. Okay, the stat that every single person who wants to play Call of Cthulhu is here for. The sanity. And my sanity is going to be 70. I am a very mentally stable, and don't you forget it. The coach putters through the countryside, passing cornfields and orchards. You have just begun to doze when the driver takes a tight bend at speed. Ooh, our first roll. How basically Call of Cthulhu works, it doesn't use D20. It rolls D100 percentile dice. If I roll below, in this case it's Dex, if I roll below a 50, I pass. If I roll above a 50, I fail. We're looking for below a 50. Ooh, yeah, 20. A desperate yell awakens you. You feel yourself slide from the seat as the driver spins the wheel and the motor coach plunges off the road. You grab hold of the seat in front just in time to prevent a painful fall. The coach stops with a thump. Now you see what has happened. A Fordson tractor has stopped in the road and your driver has had to swerve to avoid this steel obstacle. He leaps from his seat into the road, unleashing a string of curses at the farmer. You take a moment to catch your breath, but the driver's already returned. He backs the coach up a little and threads it around the tractor, glaring at the farmer. Uncomfortable. You resume your journey. The driver takes the curves with more caution than before. He glances over his shoulder at you a couple of times. Sorry about before, he says. That fella was dumber than a hog. I'm Silas. What's your name? I'm feeling Angela, called Angie for short. What stuck in my head immediately was Cartwright. Cartwright it is. Angie Cartwright at your service, sir. That was a Southern Belle. I'm pretty sure I'm not. Silas becomes chatty. Going to Arkham, eh? Can't say I ever heard of the place. Went to Boston once. Didn't like it. Too much hustle and bustle. You got family there? A special someone waiting? I've got a new job. A new job? What's your line? Okay, now we have a couple of choices here. We have an antiquarian, who is, I guess, somebody who deals in antiques. A doctor of medicine, a journalist, a private investigator, and a professor. How about I roll for it? Let's say I'll roll a d6 to make it easy. Evens, we go private investigator. Odds, we go professor. 4. Evens. I am a private investigator. And I think by law that means I have to wear like a one of those cool pork pie hats. There's a lot of skills, and depending on your occupation, you can choose a certain amount of these skills. The only caveat to that is a skill called Cthulhu Mythos. Cthulhu Mythos is knowledge of the eldritch and the unknown. If you have any points in this skill, it mechanically means you have to put your sanity down. The human mind is not meant for such things. Let's look at our girl Angie, shall we? So I can choose 8 of these. Credit rating is essentially like how much money you have at any given time. My credit skill is 20%, which means I'm dirt poor, guys. I think she would put points into stealth, and I'll tell you why. I don't see Angie being necessarily a fighter. She hides. She doesn't disguise. I think that's going to be lowest. I would say she's got a pretty good photography skill. You gotta give a good high fast talk. Now also give a good high psychology. So let's do 50 for library use. You skirt around the details of the profession in your usual way, mentioning only that you've helped the police to clear up various problems in the past. Your heart pounds a little faster as you think of the post that you have secured at the Blackwood Detective Agency. Silas narrows his eyes, but he says nothing. The motor coach winds its way uphill. However, your thoughts are interrupted as the road crests a ridge and you are treated to a magnificent view of the vista below. In the distance, the white mountains rise into hazy cloud. There is no settlement. Oh, there is no settlement. Not even a cabin, as far as the eye can see. Perhaps you are making a mistake by moving to the city. Could you survive on your own in this lush wilderness? No, man, my heels. Choose 4 skills. These are your personal interests. Boost each of these by 20. Cool. I'm going to boost my listen. She has a gun. She knows how to... Well, it makes sense, again. Charm. See? I knew I'd get it. The motor coach rattles on through the hills, and Silas lapses into silence. Sky darkens behind you, pinks tinting the clouds as the sun descends. Finally, a welcome sight comes into view. A settlement on the crest of a hill. Perhaps you can persuade Silas to stop while you stretch your legs? Minutes later, a harsh stuttering from the engine interrupts your reverie. The motor coach falters in its ascent. Silas utters a curse you don't recognize and grinds his teeth, struggling at the wheel. You seem to inch up the hill until you reach the first buildings. Low dwellings constructed from a rough red stone. Silas wrestles the coach into a small bay off the road. He scrambles from his seat and makes for the engine compartment. Choose drive, auto, or psychology. So my psychology, which is 60. For me to get a hard success, I need to roll below a 30 or below. Could be done. Oh, I failed bad. Silas opens the engine compartment and sticks his head inside. He pokes at various components, then withdraws and wipes his brow, smearing it with dirt grease. I ain't sure what's wrong. Might be the oil pressure, might be something knocked off kilter when we took that spill. Can't do much until the engine cools down neither. And with the light failing, I reckon we'll be here through the night. You feel stiff from the journey, and a night in the rickety coach sounds unappealing. Silas sees your dismay. This here's Emberhead, miles from any place. I only come through twice a week, but the folks here are good people. May Ledbetter keeps a spare room. She'll look after you. Up that alley, turn right, first house on the left. Meet me back here at 8 in the morning, and we'll see how we stand. This is a breakdown. I don't know enough about cars to be able to be like, hey, you sir, what? I am curious about where he will go, so let's find out where Silas would go. You ask about Silas's plans. He gives the engine a sour glance before answering. I've got acquaintances here in the village. Reckon one of them owes me a favour. Enough for bed and breakfast in any case. Fetch your cases from the back of the motor coach. You drag your cases between the sullen buildings. Silas' directions lead you to a modest dwelling with a slate roof. A nameplate reads, Ledbetter, and underneath, a sign in a neat copper plate reads, Lodging Room. Nice. The lane around you is gloomy, but a lamp flickers in the window. You rap on the weather-beaten door. After a moment, you hear footsteps inside the house. A bolt is drawn back and the wooden door swings open. A figure with loose curls and a rough-looking house dress peers at you. Her voice has a slight Irish lilt. Should I take it you're looking for a room for the night? Oh my god, that was so bad, I'm so sorry. I'm May. Come inside and we'll talk over a cup of tea. The true Irish way. The Ledbetter house feels cramped, with a low ceiling and simple fittings. But it is well kept and cheerful, and a cheerful fire crackles in the grate. Have you come to Emberhead for the festival? No, ma'am, I'm not here for, a festival. What festival? Ah, well now, I suppose the festival is about the only reason folks come to Emberhead. I thought you had maybe come to study it or take photographs. One night every year there's a torch-lit procession and we light the beacon on the cliffs. You've never seen the like of it. They say it keeps the spirit of the village alive for another year. It's a celebration. But you didn't come here to listen to me blather, and you must be hungry. I can rustle you up a bit of stew. How would that be? After dinner, you have a couple of hours before your usual bedtime. Let's chat with May. Let's chat. May talks about life in Emberhead. In her letters, my sister always asks if I'm not bored, living in such a small place. She lives in New York. Then she writes about how frightened she is about to walk home at night. It's a small place here, yes, but that means we have real community. Everybody's face is known. Everybody works together. Nobody is excluded, except those who choose to exclude themselves. I couldn't live anywhere else now. You let May continue until she begins to yawn. Would you listen to me yapping? When would you like your breakfast? The ideal time would be around 7:30. Right you are, miss. As May stands, you hear a clunk behind you. You look over your shoulder, but all you can see is a wooden door securely closed. The young lady of the house. She'll have been listening to us. Ruth, come and greet our guest. There is a short pause, then the door creaks open. Two wide eyes peer at you from the gap between tousled hair and a rough now gown. Pleased to meet you. Now get you back to bed. The door closes again. My daughter Ruth, 10 years this summer. She's a delight and a torment all in one. Don't worry, she sleeps in with me. She'll not disturb you. You retire to your room. It is a little chilly, but you are too tired to worry about lighting a fire. But you soon drop off. You dream of fire in the grate, coruscating colors shimmering through the dancing tongues of flame. At first they are tiny, almost microscopic, but they grow and grow until a kaleidoscopic inferno spills from the fireplace, spreading across the floor, up the sheets. You wake with a start. Daylight glints through the curtains. You get up and examine the grate, blinking the sleep from your eyes. It is quite cold. It's a bit weird. You freshen up at the wash stand and go in. She cooks a hearty breakfast and leaves you in peace to eat. At about 7:30, you are paid up, packed, and ready to go. You bid Meg goodbye, and she wishes you the best for your new career in Arkham. You pause to check your watch. Still 20 minutes early. A sourpuss he might be, but the old driver seems to understand his vehicle well enough. Round the final corner. The motor coach is gone. You put down your bags and search the area, trekking up and down slopes and around corners. 8 o'clock comes and goes. There is no coach to be seen. That son of a bitch! I paid him money! A passing villager noticed your bags. Looking for the bus? I heard him take off at first light. He's due back in 3 or 4 days. Days. The man raises his hat to you and strolls on into the village. You curse Silas under your breath. Perhaps he went for parts. But you wonder if the old goat has stranded you here on purpose. I think I'm going to end it there. This has the feeling of the calm before the storm. I was 20 minutes early, and this man still left. I'm actually kind of angry. Oh, is there something? There's something for sure. Whether that something is going to melt my brains, I doubt it a little. Just, it was like a little. Thank you so much for joining me for this first stream. Love your faces, and I'll see you next time.